Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing good. I feel like I've got such an exciting video today, and I'm excited to film it. I have a whole list of notes here as well. But yeah, I wanted to share this video because running was one of my New Year's resolutions in 2020. And luckily, I think everything that played out in 2020, that dreaded C word that I'm not going to mention, everything that played out in 2020, I feel like was the perfect sort of chaos for me to get into running. So I wanted to share how I did it and what I did and what I still do now in order to be able to run, basically. The one thing I want to mention before we do get into this and I share my tips and tricks, first of all, I'm not qualified to say any of this. I would love to be one day, hopefully. But yeah, just want to highlight that. And also that anyone can get into running. I think the big thing for me and why I wanted to share this is I had scoliosis surgery. I think it was 10 years ago now. It was September in 2014. Which literally means I had to relearn to walk. So I had my spine fused and there is metal rods on either side of my spine and two sort of bolt clips on either side, I'm pretty sure, and then bolts to keep the rods in place. That is still in my back right now. I have a huge scar all the way down my back. It makes it feel a little bit weird talking about it. But yeah, that was 10 years ago. And I think maybe it's about 18 months after that, I started trying to get into the gym. And about that time was when I ran my first 5k, which I think off the top of my head took me around 49 minutes. No, I think it took me 42 minutes actually. 42 rings a bell. And that is the first ever time I ran 5k after having major back surgery that I literally had to relearn to walk from. So yeah, one of the big reasons I wanted to share this is if I can do that, I went from an unfit child to someone that wanted to run 5k after I had major back surgery. If I can do that, then anyone can, honestly. Yeah, a lot of it, like, I kind of don't remember because it was so long ago and I was so young. But if any of you have scoliosis, have had surgery, are about to have surgery for scoliosis, I guess let this be your sign and ray of positivity that it's all works out fine. I never knew I'd go from like the unfit kid in school who didn't want to do PE to running marathons for fun. Don't know how we got here, but yeah, don't know how we got here, but I'm so happy we did because running is literally my life and I love it. So on that note, I thought I would share how I got into running, what I did, how I still get into running if we get injured or if the miles go down or anything like that. The first thing I want to say is everyone can get into running. Everyone, anyone. I think as long as like medically you're fine to run, anybody and everybody can get into running. As I say, I was always the kid in school that was picked last for anything in PE, never wanted to do PE, hated PE. Like anything sport related was just not what I wanted to do. To now the fact that like I want to run a marathon every year, like yeah, anyone can get into running. I guess the first thing that kind of got me into running was sort of making a plan or making a goal or having something I wanted to achieve, whether that was by week or by month or by year. My first thing was to just run, you know what I mean? To just get into running. So yeah, I think setting a goal is realistic. I used to have a goal of 2 5Ks a week or 3 5Ks a week, something that is achievable. I definitely think if you're brand new to running, don't set a goal of 5Ks a week, maybe 2 3Ks, and you can build on it week on week. But I think the main thing is to motivate yourself some way, somehow. For me, that's definitely setting a goal or signing up for a race or making a plan. You can probably tell from a lot of my YouTube videos, I am such a planner and I like to have a plan for things, and it's how I get like the most out of my days is having a plan for things. So yeah, make a plan of what you want to achieve by when. I think like even having I want to run 5k by the end of 2025, or you want to run 5k by the end of January, whatever your goal is. I think that is a really good place to start. The next thing is to track your progress. I think for me, when I ran 5k the first time and it took me 42 minutes, that was, as I say, a long time ago. It was probably about 15, and can't remember what I ran after that, but I definitely know that I took less time than 42 minutes. I think I went down to 39, and like those little incremental achievements are the things that like give me so much joy, and they still do to this day. So yeah, track your progress. If you have a watch or Strava on your phone, or I used to use Runkeeper a lot on my phone, it's good to just have like a diary of everything that you're running, so you can look back in like 2 weeks time and see that you've cut 20 seconds off your time or whatever it might be. Yeah, I think even for me now, like it's so motivating for me to look on Garmin and to see that I've run like 1,000 miles for the year, and I'm like, okay, well next year I want to do 1,200 miles. So yeah, just tracking your progress and tracking your runs I think is helpful. And something for me as well is running the same routes. I think like I know roughly how long it takes me to run the 5k loop around the village, in which case like if I run it again I'm like, oh, I've cut a minute off since when I ran it a month ago or something like that. So although that can be a little bit boring, definitely don't run all the same routes all the time because your body does get used to it. But to know your time around a particular route with particular like gradient and terrain and everything, I think is really good at helping you keep motivated as well. The next one I want to say, and this one I feel like a lot of people don't do this and it mind boggles me, is to walk and run. Nobody can go out there and run a 5k without stopping if you've got no running fitness whatsoever. If you can, props to you, because I've never been able to do that in my life. Nobody can do that. So I think the main thing is to not beat yourself up for walking. I still do it now. I've done it in every single marathon I've run. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to go out there and run. You can run 5k, but it can be run walk, and it still counts as a run, because at the end of the day it's going to be faster than what your walking speed is. It just blows my mind that people think going for a run means you don't stop whatsoever. Yeah, I guess just to reiterate, walking when you first start out running is actually a perfect thing to do. I used to like run to a lamppost or set a goal to like run to the bus stop or to run to like, I don't know, the BT box on the side of the road. And it's actually the perfect way to get into running, is to actually run walk, do intervals. So you're running for 2 minutes, walking for 2 minutes, and obviously build that up. I have never used the Couch to 5k app, but I'm pretty sure that is how the Couch to 5k app works. A lot of my training, as I say, is also run walk, especially intervals, faster intervals when I'm trying to build my speed and everything like that. That does have walking in, so it is absolutely fine to walk. I think as a society that is one big thing we need to learn, that it is totally okay to walk. I still do it now, and I've been running consistently for 4 years, so it's absolutely fine to walk, and it's actually a perfect way to get into running and build up your running fitness as well. Something else I would say is to just do a few short runs a few times a week when you're first getting started. I used to like do a 3k up to the top of the bank and back, or like round the corner and back was 4k. I never used to do big long runs. So don't like set out and be like, oh, I'm going to run 10k a day. Chances are you're not going to run 10k a day. So yeah, set achievable goals and goals that you can actually hit and that aren't going to just zap out all your motivation for running, because you can't just go out there and run 10k. That's not going to happen. It's not achievable, it's not realistic, and you probably won't ever want to run again. The other thing I would say is simply to just go. I think a lot of the time in like society these days, we get like too caught up in the like specifics of what trainers do I need, have I got the right socks on, are my trainers going to hurt, are they tight enough? Simply put your trainers on, some leggings, a t-shirt, and off you go. Get a good playlist on. That's literally all you need. You don't need really anything to get into running. I do think running can be expensive because a lot of the kit is expensive, but it absolutely does not have to be. As long as your feet are protected, you should be absolutely fine. So yeah, don't wear like fashion trainers for running. Also, I see so many people doing it and it makes me cringe. If it is just you like testing the waters out, do you enjoy running, that's fine, but like make sure you get a good pair of trainers also. My next piece of advice as well is to build slowly. If you've run 3Ks in the week, don't then go running 3 7Ks or something. Build slowly. When I'm marathon training, even then I build just like a few miles a week. You're supposed to do 10% per week. Sometimes I do a little bit more, but yeah, to avoid injury and as well to just make sure you're building up your fitness rather than just tiring yourself out. Build slowly. It does take time, it does take patience. I've been there many times myself, having been injured and then having to get back into running. It's hard, and I'm not going to deny that it is hard. I think especially when I know that I've been significantly fitter, trying to then get back into it and being patient with it is difficult. But in a few weeks you will start to feel fitter, you will start to feel better, and like you can run. So yeah, just keep going. You've got to get through the first few weeks of the grueling hard work, and after that it does start to feel much better. A big tip as well from me is to run with friends and family. Go recruit your friends, go recruit your family, find a run club, find just somebody to run with. That was one of the ways that I consistently got into running. I think like January 2021, a lot of people were still home from uni, so a few of my friends were still home, so we were able to run together. And that honestly made me run probably further and more often, and was so enjoyable. Really enjoyed it. Like, I think of that time as like such a nice time when we both just like went for a run and enjoyed ourselves. So yeah, recruit your friends, recruit your family. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see a lot of the time I run with my mum, my little sister and my auntie, and it's just such like a good motivator because you're all doing it, you're all gonna show up. Especially we do long runs on a Sunday. I think without them I probably wouldn't do half the long runs I do, because I've got someone there to drag me along and just keep you company. And yeah, it just makes you show up. You've got no excuses to not be there. The next one is to slow down. So many of my friends that want to get into running are like, oh, but like today's 5k only took me 26 minutes. And I'm like, maybe that's your problem. Again, marathon training, I keep comparing getting into running to marathon training, but it is so similar. The biggest thing you want to do in marathon training is slow your pace down and do slow long runs. It's the biggest benefit to your training is to do those slow long runs, the easy runs. I think 80% of your training should be easy. So you don't literally want to be going for a run and absolutely killing yourself because you want to beat your time off last week. It's not realistic and it's not beneficial to your training at all. So yeah, please slow down. I'm losing my voice. Something else that I think is worth noting and mentioning that motivates me now, but you've got to get the right balance of it. But Instagram. I initially started my Instagram to be a diary, which is the name of it, Liv's Running Diaries. But I initially started that to be like a diary of my running and like just somewhere to like document everything I was doing. And that was one big motivator. Like even like running races now, I think, oh, like this is a bit insane, but like imagine the Instagram post. Like imagine being like, I beat my time by 40 minutes or whatever it is. It's just, it is something to keep you going. But another thing I will say is do not compare yourself to anybody on Instagram. If you go on Instagram and compare yourself to something I'm doing or something someone significantly faster than me is doing, chances are nothing about you and that person are the same. The length of time you've been running versus the length of time they've been running. Genetics is obviously a big thing. I think naturally I'm just not like a fit person, but I still enjoy running and I enjoy doing what I can do with my body. Even like comparing myself to where I was a few years ago, I've definitely a little bit slimmer, a little bit fitter, a little bit just, yeah, all round probably more healthy a few years ago, and I could run a lot further, a lot quicker, a lot easier. It didn't kill me as much. I feel like a lot of running I do now, just because I'm not as fit and probably because I don't eat as good, I do feel like more effects on my body. I can feel it in my muscles, I can feel it in my hips and all the rest of it. So yeah, just don't compare anything. I think don't compare yourself to yourself a year ago. Don't compare yourself to someone on Instagram, but it can be used as a beneficial way to keep you going. There is also so much good content on there that I enjoy looking at now. One of the girls I follow is in Dubai, she's cycling in Oman, and I'm like, that's just so cool and something I would love to do at some point in my life. So yeah, it is nice to look at things people are doing and it might inspire you. Like I really want to do an Ironman purely because I've seen so many people like on YouTube, on Instagram do Ironmans, and it is something I want to do purely because of Instagram. So yeah, it can be a motivator, but again, too much of it I think can also demotivate you. So the right balance of Instagram I think is good, but yeah, it's definitely kept me going over the years. And the one thing I will say is the running community is so supportive. You will never find a bunch of more supportive people, honestly. Even being out running, every runner says hi to each other, cyclists will say hi as well. It is just such a nice community of people and I really enjoy it. A lot of the people I've followed for quite a few years on Instagram, I feel like I almost know them because I followed them, followed the races they've done. I think I will shout out a few people that I just absolutely love on Instagram. The first girl is Kellogg's on the Run. Kelly I've followed for quite a few years and she's just ran 2 marathons in like 2 weeks. She ran Valencia and Pisa and got a sub-4 at Pisa, which I just think is incredible. I love following her. And she's also got 4 kids. I think she's got 4 kids as well. So yeah, I think following people on Instagram is such a nice thing. Would highly recommend Kelly. And also Rach ran a marathon as well. I have absolutely loved following Rachel and she just inspires me. I love her content also. I think she's a similar age to me, so it is nice to follow. Yeah, would highly recommend those two. I think they're probably the 2 people on Instagram I sort of see the most and I'm inspired by the most, and I probably speak about them to like people I run with also, and I'm like, oh, this girl on Instagram. But yeah, Kelly and Rachel, I absolutely love following them. I follow them both on Strava also. Yeah, but as I say, I think the right balance of Instagram must be stressed. I think too much can stress you out and can do the opposite and demotivate you, but yeah, there is some good stuff on there. But lastly, I just want to say, put on a pair of trainers, slow your speed down, walk and run, and honestly that is the recipe for getting into running. Sign up to some races. Races, I think, to a lot of people sound daunting, but honestly, as well as Instagram, they are such a lovely atmosphere and everyone is so supportive, and it just builds up the hype of running, and it is such a nice place to be and to be involved in. I think running clubs are probably very similar. I've only been to one in my life and haven't been back actually, which yeah, I would love to set up my own run club one day. But yeah, I hope this has inspired you. As I say, if I can go from being the unfit, unsporty girl who then had scoliosis surgery to then getting into running, and I've run 3 marathons now, then so can you. And yeah, I hope that inspires you. I hope that helps you get into running in 2025. Please let me know if you do, and please let me know how you get on. Any questions, please let me know down below. As I say, I'm not qualified, but I have a huge love and passion for running, as you can probably tell. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you did, and subscribe and give it a thumbs up down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.